Yes, hello guys. Good morning, uh, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. This is Samash, and today I'll be teaching us about around 5 lessons that successful people will always find themselves embracing. And today we'll start with the first one, that is self-development. Self-development. So, all successful people consistently will be having self development. They will develop their inner self first. They'll try as much as possible to develop themselves. That means they will be developing their spiritual development. That means they have a belief on a supreme being. They will be practicing. If at all they are the Indians, they will be meditating each and every morning. If at all they are Kenyans, they will always find themselves to go to pray in the morning before they start any activity during the day. They'll find themselves, if they are Muslim, they'll go to the mosque to attend the 5 prayers. If they are Christians, they'll go to church. That is one of the most critical characteristics of a successful person. They will also embrace economic development. For you to be successful, you will have to know what it really means for you to develop financially, economically. You are supposed to be doing something which is building, is making you build the economy of a country, building the economy, being of help to the economy. So you are supposed to be aware of your economic development, also your social development. You're not supposed to develop a cocoon, and you are not supposed to domicile yourself inside yourself. That means that you don't interact with other people. You're supposed to have this, that most of the successful people, they will always embrace social development. They'll have friends, they'll have social groups that they are in. They will always embrace social development. I hope that one really. I know some people are. They will always tell themselves that, oh, I'm an introvert. So if I'm an introvert, then I don't have friends. But it's good for you to have to have a social circumference. It's good for you to have a social life. It's good that you have people who you can be able to talk to. If you are maybe in the midst of a challenge, they'll be talking to you, they'll be motivating you, they'll give you the motive. Right? Nice. Then the second very important habit about most of the successful people is consistency. 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 Uh, what is consistency? Consistency, I will define it as the ability of one to do a certain habit repeatedly, even if there is no manifestation of the end results. Even if there is what we call the plateau of latent potential, even if that one has never happened, even if the process that this person is embracing to become who they intend to become has not yet brought result, this person will always be consistent. They will always be going on in the process until they make it. Consistency. Successful people will always not be quitters. They will not quit, even if it means having to do an activity for years before there is a manifestation of results. These people will always find themselves doing the same until they receive an end result, because you can't compare building a small business and building a whole company. Building a whole company, it entails self-development, developing your consistency, your discipline should be very great in such a way that you start on small and you believe in the process as you grow until now the company is mature enough to be able to employ as many people and be able to provide the profit that you had trajected. So successful people will always be consistent. Into the point number 3, allow me to take a sip of water. Into the point number 3, as all successful people will always have to set some goals. If you want to be a successful person, you have to set some goals. Set some goals. Set strategies. If you want to be this successful person, remember, I'm not trying to mean that success is all about making a lot of money. Success is very relative. It depends with your definition of success. To some people, success might be achieving being maybe a boss of a big company, a CEO of a big company. To some, maybe they would wish that their successes are maybe physical fitness. Maybe to some, success might mean that they are spiritual upright. To some, maybe success might mean many and many things. But now, for all those success, for you to realize those success, you're supposed to have this. Set goals, set strategies on how you can be able to get there. And set your strategies and goals, they should be smart. That means they are specific, measurable, actualizable. That means they are attainable. They are realistic and time bound. They are supposed to be they are supposed to be smart. That means you can be able to achieve them. You are supposed to, if at all it's a very big goal, try to break it down to small, attainable goals until now you are able to reach to the end big result. And that one is one of the biggest characteristic of successful people. If you want to build a very big company, you cannot just wake up one day and say, okay, I want to build a company. So, okay, what do I need? Okay, I just need capital. Then no. You are supposed to sit down, restructuring the motto, restructuring the principle, the guiding principles of that company. You're supposed to be able to sit down and analyze what are these goals that you want the company to achieve. What are these things that you want the company to work on? Every construction, every thing that is domiciled in that company is supposed to be structured well. It's supposed to be able to be written. Have a handwritten, write it down, either write it down somewhere to ensure that you realize it. Set goals, both long-term goals and short-term goals, to ensure that you structure your success. And that is one of the very critical habits that successful people will always have. Okay, into the number 4 of the 5 habits that successful people will always have. Into the point number 4, successful people are very responsible beings. What do I mean by the word responsible? Responsible. These people, you are supposed to be able to take responsibility of your action, take responsibility of your doings. Like, if at all maybe you try out something and then it doesn't go as you have expected, you're supposed to be into that level and say that, okay, there was a failure noticed somewhere, but what can I do to rectify it? That is being personal responsible. You're supposed to be responsible of both your success and your failure. Successful people will not embrace blame games. Like, the company could have maybe picked well if it were not for this so and so who came and did this and this. No, you are there. A successful people will always sit down and say, okay, if these are the mistakes that we have encountered for that has hindered the development of this particular company, what else can we do? What else can we do to rectify on this? Okay, I'm sorry because I'm basing much on a company, only basing on one side, but also you can relate it even to the other goals. How, if at all, this is what made me to fail in this particular thing, what can I be able to exactly do to be able to realize the goals that I have intended to achieve? That is one of the most characteristic that people who are successful will always have. They don't blame others. They will always ask themselves, what can I do? Like I want to quote this word from a book that is by Robert Kiyosaki. That is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There is this point and clause whereby now he was saying now there is a very, very big distinct between the rich and the poor, whereby now he quoted and said, now the rich dad will not say that I cannot afford this. He will instead say, how can I afford this? Maybe the poor dad will tell themselves that money can be the root of all evils. But now the rich dad will always say that money is, a lack of money is the root of all evil. So it means with the it really hold with the perspective that you have. It is the perspective, the attitude, and the orientation that you have that can really, really determine the mindset that you are trying to gear yourself to. So successful people are supposed to be responsible. What can I do? How can I improve this? How can I be able to be a better person? That is characteristic number 4 of successful people. And number 5, and the last one, is the environment. The environment. The environment is one of the biggest factors that will really determine for your success or failure into a given project. For example, there is this kind of fish which now when you place it in a very small container, it just grows small. It just don't grow at all. It just remains small. But when you take the same fish and you take it into the ocean, it grows to its required size. So the environment of a person really, really determines the success that they will always attain. So make sure that your environment is success friendly for you to be a successful person. Make sure that your environment is success friendly. To be success friendly, it means that you are number 1 factor to ensure that your environment can be able to help you realize your success. In the next lesson that I'll be covering, in the next recording that I'll be covering, we'll be looking at deep into what else can we be able to do to realize success. And remember, for all of us, everyone in the world, they will always have the desire to be successful, either spiritually, socially, economically, and many other spheres. They will always tend to want to be successful. To some, that's why you realize that human ones, they are insatiable. You cannot be able to finish them. You cannot finish all the human ones and say, okay, now I'm good. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you realize that at any given level, there is a need that will always arise. So that means now, for when you are there to all these hobbies that I will be sharing to you, then definitely one day you will comment down there and say that, okay, thank you, because your lessons were very helpful. Now I have been able to realize this and this. So thank you guys. This is Samuel. Continue subscribing to my content so that I can be able to reach as many people as possible. Also share my comments so that many people can be able to benefit from the same. Thank you guys and stay blessed.